Hey, do you ever put off putting yourself out there because you don't like the way you look? Or because you cannot stand the way you sound? I can't stand the way I sounded when I said that. If you are, you're not alone. This is something we all deal with, and I want to talk you through it in this week's video, so stick around. Hey, welcome to Eat Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of Presentation Powerhouse Missing Link. Now, the question I want to answer for you this week is quite a simple one. It's like, why do I look and sound so bad on video? Because most people do not like how they look. I can absolutely tell you that I never get to watch these whole videos because I cringe every single time I look back. And I know that the big professionals out there be like, no, you got to do it. I can't bring myself to watch these back. I get so embarrassed. In fact, so often I'll record these, send them to my team, and they'll say, oh, you were on mute the whole time. It's a terrible thing. The bottom line is, though, people don't like how they look. They look at themselves and they want to cringe. And that's actually due to a mirroring effect. The reason for that is that when we see ourselves, we actually see the version of ourselves that we're used to seeing in the mirror. So when we look at ourselves, the person we see looking back at us is a mirror image. And it turns out that our faces aren't strictly symmetrical. If you have a look here, if you look at this lady and then you flip it over, boom, you can see that her face looks different. You can actually see the way that her eyes shift in line, which means that she sees herself one way and the world sees her another way. So when you see these things next to each other, you can see quite a noticeable difference in things. And that's the problem, is that we're seeing a version of ourselves when we look that we're not used to seeing. We don't enjoy it. Now, unless you're the likes of a Brad Pitt or something, I mean, yes, this guy is pure sex. He's so gorgeous, right? Unless you look like a guy like Brad Pitt, you're always going to see the mirror version of yourself more. That's all that's happening here. And you've just got to understand that you may think you look terrible, but actually the version of you that looks terrible, that's what people really see. Okay, so that's the real you. The version you see of yourself isn't. In fact, to add insult to injury, if you take the Brad Pitts of the world, did some studies and they found out that the people with the more symmetrical faces, those people are actually better looking. So you can hardly see when they split. When he looks that good, when he wakes up in the morning, looks himself in the mirror, he's like, all right, Brad, you're the man. And it turns out basically that your voice is similar, but for different reasons. And the reason we don't enjoy the way that we sound is similar. And I'm going to get into that right now. But first, I just got a message from Bev from our office. And she said this, basically, hey, Rich, do you think it'd be a little bit cheeky this week and ask people to subscribe to your videos? And I was like, no, Bev, I'm not going to be that guy who stands there and turns us into a whole big thing around asking you to subscribe to my video. I mean, is this the loneliest place on YouTube? Maybe. But maybe that's all you like it. Maybe you come here just for some quiet time to get away from all the people. However, jokes aside, if you do get some value, I would really, really appreciate it if you could hit subscribe for me in this one. It'd be wonderful. And definitely feel free to, not necessarily this video, but find your favorite and share it online and always leave a comment. It lets me know that you're listening and it really does mean the world to me. So thanks so much. So where were we? Sound. The sound of our voice. Well, it turns out that actually we hear a different version of ourselves when we speak. And the reason is that there's two kinds of sound that we process in our body. The one, which is audio we hear, like, you know, if I'm listening to something over there, that's air conduction. The airwaves come into my ear and I hear it from there. The other is bone conduction. And you know that those headphones you get that actually conduct the audio through your bones, and we hear that too. Well, it turns out that when we're speaking, what we're actually hearing ourselves is a combination of the two. So when I'm speaking, I hear both the air-conducted version of my voice that you would hear, but I also hear the deeper, more resonant bone conduction version of my voice. So when I hear myself, I feel like I'm like a, you know, deep voice sounding brilliant thing. But then when I listen back, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, I can't even imagine how you've listened to this video. I feel like when I hear myself, I feel like I sound like somebody who's like got a blocked nose or a cat getting strangled or something. Anyway, this is the primary reason why I've actually never wanted to record audiobooks for my first two books, Boredom Slayer and Legicide, is because I just can't stand how I sound. Well, that be damned. I've decided to bite the bullet, and that's why I'm very, very pleased to announce that I've now gone and recorded an audiobook version of Here Be Dragons. So if you do want to hear me, we'll include links down below, reading my latest book and talking you through it, then that would be amazing. I was actually privileged to record it with the phenomenal Gavin from Solid Gold Podcast Studios. Well, hold on a second. Let me actually just piss him off as well. There we go. Gavin was absolutely incredible to work with. And in fact, all the things above that I mentioned were actually shared in a blog post by him to me when I said, but I don't like the way I sound. So I'm going to include a link to Gavin's website and to his article down below that you can check that out. So what is the lesson here? Well, the lesson is this. It's very, very simple. Even when you think you sound or look terrible, that's how you look and sound. That's how the world hears you. So don't worry about it. You don't look any worse or sound any worse than you do the rest of the time. Have some comfort in that. But the other thing is understand that you are right now, and this is where my acceptance comes from, the single best version of yourself that has ever walked on the face of the world, right? People on the face of the planet. People buy into you because of who you are. And I have to accept that even though I can't stand how I look and I don't like the sound of my voice, I can understand that some people have got used to that and they take it in for that reason. You know, and I will be the best version of me forever. You will literally, there will never be a better version of you. Unless maybe they invent cloning and stuff. And then there will be a better version of you. You'll be like the crappy first pancake version of you that you give to the relative that you don't like. But like, don't let that put you off. For now, you are the only pancake. You are the beautiful pancake. And don't lose out on finding your voice and becoming a speaker and speaking because you have these insecurities about yourself. They're not real. You are who you are, and it's amazing. So go out there and lead loud.